The Rays finally snapped their Progressive Field curse, but it wasn't easy as Mitch Talbot struck out 6 straight at one point. But the Tampa Bats came alive to even the series up at a game apiece. Justin Masterson gets the ball in the rubber match of this 3-game series, and we've got it all next on Channel 3. A gray, cloudy day in downtown Cleveland as the Indians and the Rays put the wraps on a 3-game weekend series. They've each won a game, and so now it's all up for grabs as they meet for the final time here in 2010. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. It looked like the Indians were going to continue their home mastery over Tampa Bay. It looked like they were going to make it 19 in a row here in Cleveland against the Rays. They had a 3-0 lead. But that third time through the order, the Tampa Bay Rays finally figured out Mitch Talbot.
Well, a couple of measly singles, and then all of a sudden this was the big hit. Ben Zobrist goes the other way. It ends up being a home run. That was a big 3-run homer. And then Pena hits another home run the next inning to give them the lead. They never looked back again. But when you're throwing as many strikes as Mitch Talbot was, boy, they were aggressive that third time through. They were 1 for 15, and then the third time through they ended up going 4 for 8. That's where 5 RBIs came, 4 runs scored. So, I mean, they made the adjustment against Mitch Talbot.
And they were able to hang on for the victory last night. Now, Shin-Soo Choo has been on fire since coming off the disabled list for the Indians, and that's good news because the Indians' right-handed batters have really struggled in this series. So from the left side, getting Choo back has given them some serious pop, and defensively, he hasn't missed a bit either.
You know, this is the very first game he came back, the very first hitter, but that's a tribute to Choo, how hard you work to come back, even when you miss a couple of weeks like he did, to come back, and it looks like he's never missed a beat. He certainly has not defensively. He's one of the best right fielders in the game today, and offensively, he just adds to that lineup, and you can put him and Santana back-to-back in that lineup. It stretches it out, makes it easier for everybody else. 3 for 6 in his first 2 games, and it's just nice to have Choo back in the lineup.
You know he's a good player when even the opposing manager, in this case Joe Madden, just gushes when he talks about Shin-Soo Choo. Well, he and the Indians are on the field today trying to make it 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays, and we've got all the action for you right here on Channel 3 next. Area now just cloudy skies here in downtown Cleveland, but the weatherman says we're good to go the rest of the afternoon as the Tribe tries to take 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays, who've closed it within 3 games of the front-running Yankees in the American League East. Indians have fallen a game in back of 4th place Kansas City in the AL Central. Justin Masterson on the hill for the Tribe today, and let's look at the Tampa lineup that he will face, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. Ben Zobrist has just 1 hit in the series, but it was a big one, a game-tying 3-run homer last night. Carl Crawford and Evan Longoria follow Zobrist. Then it's Pena, Joyce, and Ibar in the middle. Pena also homered in last night's game that put the Rays ahead for good. Bottom third of the order looks like this. John Jaso, Reed Brignac, and Jason Bartlett.
Today's starting pitcher brought to you by the Great Lakes Team Shop in Menor. Justin Masterson will be making his 20th start this year. His record is 3-8. He has pitched 111 1/3 innings, 89 strikeouts. He made that start against Tampa right before the All-Star break. It was a no decision. He's coming off a very good start against the Minnesota Twins in his last outing. He left with a 3-run lead, but the bullpen gave it back. He ended up with a no decision.
Switch hitting Ben Zobrist will step in to lead it off. Time is called as we wait for the outfield doors to be closed. And now we're ready. Tampa, a slow start offensively in this series, but boy, they picked it up. They were just 2 for their first 37 as a team. Last 23 batters, 7 for 21. Couple of walks.
Well, we saw them make an adjustment where they started to get aggressive because the Cleveland pitchers were pounding the strike zone, which was okay.
Little tapper foul.
Justin this year, 2 of his 3 wins have come here at Progressive Field.
Now the 0-2. Right back out of play. Carl Crawford waiting on deck, and then Evan Longoria here in the first for Tampa. Ran it in off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Justin Masterson at home this year, 3.91 ERA. It's amazing. His ERA well over 6 on the road this year. But you occasionally will see pitchers who, like hitters, have great numbers at home, poor numbers on the road, or vice versa in many cases.
Well, he pitched a good game in Minnesota in his last start. He just had nothing to show for it because the bullpen gave it up. He actually gave up the 1 run. Perez came up, gave up a couple of base hits. He left with 2 men on base. He ended up giving up the 3 runs, but
he really did pitch well.
Yeah, he should have. He was ahead in the count a lot of times.
Routine bouncer to second baseman Jason Nix, who throws out Zobrist to start the game.
Let's take a look at the Taco Bell Indians defensive lineup. In the outfield today, it'll be Crow in left, Brantley in center, Chu is in right. It'll be Marte to start at third, Cabrera at short, Nix at second, Laporte is at first, Santana again behind the plate. And when you're making a choice for late night, Taco Bell is the late night place to be.
Carl Crawford, 1 ball, 1 strike, just 1 hit in the series. Masterson with a 1-1. Misses down low with that.
Crawford got Justin Masterson with a 2-run homer in his last start back in Tampa. That was the 3rd 2-run homer in the series for him.
He's got that nitro zone where if you find it,
down and in,
he can groove it. But not necessarily a guy you think of is going to hit for a lot of power.
Well, he sprays it. He'll use the whole field.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Still with 11 home runs on the year. That's a pretty good total, especially when you take into consideration that the American League leader has 26 home runs. Crawford fouls that one out of play, and the National League leader, Joey Votto, has 25. So here it is, almost the end of July. Nobody has even hit 30 home runs yet.
Well, you look at this guy. He has 22 doubles, 7 triples. He's only 1 triple away from 100 in his career.
Swung out and missed. Chased after it. Masterson gets the strikeout, 2 down. Adrian Johnson calling the balls and strikes. Mike Malinsky at first, Andy Fletcher at second, Mike Everett, the acting crew chief, down at third. The last time Adrian Johnson had the plate, it was an eventful evening for him out in Los Angeles when the Dodgers were playing the San Francisco Giants. Joe Torre had been ejected from that game. And then Don Mattingly, the acting manager, went to the mound late to talk to the closer, Jonathan Broxton. He took 2 steps off the mound, and then Loney, the first baseman, asked him a question. He went back to the mound, and then Boshi came out and said, hey, that's a second trip to the mound. He's got to leave. Adrian Johnson got with the other umpires, and Tim McClellan, the crew chief, who was with the crew at that time, said, yep, he's got to go. So just kind of a
strange
not
situation.
Something you see very often in a big league ball game, but the Dodgers were forced to go to George Sherrill.
And he gave up the game winner.
Yeah, so it was a strange night.
Yes, it was. How often will you see that at a ball game where it's twice? He just walked off the dirt.
I mean, literally, 2 steps maybe away, and then just turned around and went back and said, oh, yeah, whatever the point he was trying to make. Grounded to short. Cabrera throws out Longoria, and a good 1-2-3 first inning for Justin Masterson. Indians coming to bat when we come back. No score, bottom of the first, as the Indians come to bat against Wade Davis. And let's grab a look at the Indians starting lineup today, presented by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Michael Brantley is Dribble Cabrera and Shin-Soo Choo at the top. Carlos Santana, Matt Laporta, Travis Hafner in the middle. Jason Nix back in the lineup. He's batting 7th, and it's Trevor Crow, and Andy Marte gets to start batting 9th.
Wade Davis, the starter for Tampa today. He is making his 19th start. He is 7-9, and he did beat the Indians in his last start. More numbers on him in a minute.
Outside ball 1 to Michael Brantley.
He lost all 5 games in the month of June. He was 0-5, but he is 2-0 in his last 3 starts. And that first win came against the Indians back in July on the 8th.
He will give up some home runs. The only runs he allowed to the Indians in that start at home was a couple of solo shots, one to Michael Brantley, one to Andy Marte.
One thing about Davis, he will throw a lot of pitches. He throws over 17 per inning, which is 4th most in the league.
The 3-0 and a 4-pitch walk to start the ballgame as Brantley takes his base.
Let's check out the Rays' defensive lineup, brought to you by Huntington Bank. Crawford, Zobrist, and Joyce in the outfield. It's Longoria, Bartlett, Brignac, and Pena on the infield. Jaso behind the plate.
As Dribble Cabrera steps in. And a quick throw to first. Brantley got back in there, and might have only been saved by the fact that Pena couldn't come up with it. The Indians' leadoff batter has drawn a walk, though, in each of the 3 games in this series. Brantley in the first game. Trevor Crowe led off last night with a walk. And now Brantley again here today. And the Indians have scored on those walks in the first 2 games of the series. So we'll see if that same formula holds true here this afternoon. And there's Drupal Cabrera with a hole on the right side now with Brantley. The runner at first being held on by Carlos Pena. Another throw over. He's got a pretty good move. And Brantley able to get back safely. 24-year-old rookie out of Lake Wales, Florida. He was part of a pretty good draft class, too, back in 2004 for the Tampa Bay Rays. Davis was a third-round selection. In that same draft, they got Jeff Neiman, who's a tremendous starting pitcher. Reed Brignac, who's developing into a nice player at second base. Jake McGee, Fernando Perez, and Andy Sonnenstein all came in that draft for Tampa. So that's doing your homework, executing, getting them signed, developing them.
Well, he's trying to throw a strike is what he's trying to do. 6 straight balls.
See if Cabrera's still in take mode then.
I would think so. You don't want to help him out.
Just caught the outside corner.
Here's a guy that's about 1-3 to home plate. That's about average.
Two-one delivery. Foul back out of play. And there's Drupal Cabrera, 3 for 8 in the series. Came off the disabled list when the Indians were in Minnesota. And even though he had been their leadoff hitter early in the year, back into the more familiar role of the 2-hitter. Lifted down the left field line, but it's going to slice out of play. Shin-Soo Choo waiting on deck.
Davis has made 5 starts this year against the Central Division. He is 4-0 and a 2.64 ERA, so he has done very well or fared well against the Central. And when you look at Tampa, they are 15-8, which is the best record against the Central Division.
Now Wade Davis ready with a 2-2 pitch. And it's outside, full count. So after throwing 6 straight balls, he came back with 3 straight strikes. One of them was fouled away. Now another ball and a full count.
Now you start the runner. Get him going.
Brantley draws another throw. He doesn't have an enormous lead either.
No, he does not. Davis is quick to first base. He has 2 pickoffs this year for a right-hander.
Well, let's see. Brantley in that same lead. He takes off, and it's fouled back. Not a big league for Brantley, but when I noticed when he took off, there was no false movement. He got a good jump out of his lead.
Well, here he's not trying to steal the base. They're just starting him with a full count, figuring that Cabrera is going to put the ball in play. On a straight steal, if he had that lead and that jump, he wouldn't make it.
Runner goes. And the 3-2 hit sharply to Pena. Makes a great grab off the short hop and tags the bag to retire Cabrera. Brantley gets into scoring position, but that's the second time now in this series that Pena has really helped save his pitcher. It's our great clip of the game from last night. Shin-Soo Choo with an RBI double. Down into the corner, got the Indians on the board first. Relax, you're at Great Clips. So an 8-pitch at bat for Asdrubal Cabrera. Last night, in 4 trips to the plate, he saw a total of just 9 pitches. Now Shin-Soo Choo looks at a ball down and in. Tom Bochenik's got the Channel 3 red shirt on today, and he's brought above and beyond his A game.
Yeah, he's glowing already.
Choo 3 for 6 in the series. Trying to put the Tribe on top again here early. Now Davis ready, the 1-1. Caught the outside part of the plate. Rays don't employ a shift for Choo, but Reed Brignac, that second baseman, really pulled over on the right side, so there's a sizable hole up the middle for Choo. Especially just to the right of second base, as you can see there. Outfield, by the way, also pulled around a little bit toward right, with the left fielder Crawford shallowing over toward the line, trying to take that opposite field dunk hit away. And that's where Choo goes with it, base hit. Brantley had to hold up to make sure that Longoria wouldn't reach up and snare it. He didn't have a good look at it, so he stops at third. But Indians at the corners with 1 out. Had Brantley maybe had a better look at that, he would have scored easily.
Well, you have to make sure that that ball is not going to get caught. You are in scoring position, and Choo goes the other way. He had a base hit that way last night.
And again, Longoria's got pretty good athletic ability.
Exactly. You have to make sure that ball gets into left field. He will cruise into third base, and you've got Santana up, so a chance to take the lead.
Carlos Santana steps in now for the Indians. And there's a fly ball to right field. This should get the run home. Let's see. Joyce coming in now makes the grab. Brantley's coming home. And he bobbled the ball coming out of his glove, so Brantley scores easily.
Well, he tried to stay behind that ball and make the throw, but he caught it too low and almost missed it. It'll go as a sacrifice fly for Santana.
Gives him 21 runs batted in on the year, and the Indians strike first. Another look here.
Watch how low he catches it. See, right around the waist. And in that transfer, he needed about another half a step to get that glove. You try and catch it about shoulder height. He didn't do it. The Indians will take a 1-0 lead.
So 1 on with 2 out. Matt Laporta will be the batter. So all 3 times in the series, the Indians' leadoff man has walked to start the game, and all 3 times he's come around to score. Laporta couldn't hold up. Rays don't quite have the shift on for Laporta as they've done with Shelley Duncan, a right-handed hitter. But if you'll see Bartlett, he's way over on the left side of the infield, and Brignac shading him up the middle. Joe Madden would have been a great defensive coordinator in football.
He would show you some different schemes, wouldn't he?
Some exotic blitz packages. As it turns out, he's done a pretty good job as manager of the Rays, taking them to the World Series just a couple of years ago. And
getting his first win in this ballpark ever.
That's right, last night.
Manager. And that extended beyond the 18 games, you know, with Tampa. There was 4 with the Angels, as you mentioned, back in '96.
Yeah. 2-strike delivery. He went around, and that'll do it. But the Indians get on the board first after an inning of play. It's Cleveland 1, Tampa 0.
Northern Ohio Toyota dealers.
The Indians with a 1-0 lead as we go to the second inning here at Progressive Field. Carlos Pena to lead it off. And he takes a strike from Justin Masterson. Pena, a .209 hitter on the year, as you see, with 21 home runs. Looks at a ball down low to even the count at 1-1. By the way, Rick, back in that first inning, that base hit by Chu with Brantley at second base snapped an 0-for-17 streak for the Indians with a runner in scoring position. After their previous 3 games, they had batted at a .395 clip. Clutch hitting is always important. And we've talked about that, and this is an Indians team that's done such a great job of driving in runs after 2 men are out.
Right. Well, you know, it runs in cycles. We always say hitting is contagious.
And sometimes lack of hitting.
That
can be viral.
Well, right now you look at the lack of hitting, and the Tigers are going through that. Right now as an offense from the All-Star break, they've really struggled, and now the injury bug has hurt them.
Well, you're not kidding. Detroit's lost 8 out of 10, and you know, you lose Maglio Ordonez on the heels of losing right. Brandon Inge.
And
Carlos Guillen, I understand, was placed on the deal with a calf injury. So that's the trifecta of doom for Detroit. 3-2 ground ball in the teeth of that shift. Backhanded Nix. Long throw from the grass. Got him.
Beautiful play.
That's not one you practice in spring training.
No, sirree. But, you know, he got rid of it very quickly, all in one motion. And watch how deep he's playing, and then he hits it. And he's got to go to his right, ranging, gets rid of it quickly. An accurate throw just beats Pena. Very nice play.
And 1 out now for Matt Joyce. One ball, no strikes. Trading deadline fast approaching in Major League Baseball. Not that there still can't be deals done in August, but then you have to get waivers, and it makes it more difficult. But all of a sudden with the injuries, I think there are more teams that are maybe not necessarily, Rick, are they pushing the panic button, but their interest has definitely sped up as far as, hey, we've got to get something done now. I got to imagine Detroit is in that situation.
Yeah. Well, we were talking with Gordy Lakey, who was a Philadelphia scout before the game, and he's saying with the injuries to a couple of guys that are out there, you know, DeJesus and Sheets, and he says it's really elevating your lower type of player that could be traded.
Right. And all of a sudden, it may have taken maybe just an average minor leaguer for a certain guy. All of a sudden now that guy, now we want a top minor leaguer.
Yeah. Now the price has gone up. You're exactly right.
Well, supply and demand, simple economics, I suppose, and that's going to be something that we will watch very closely over the next 5-6 days as we approach the trading deadline here in this 2010 season. Now, Tampa Bay is a team that I think would love to add a bat to their lineup. And this is a team that we've talked about it with the impending free agency of Carl Crawford. Who knows what the face of this team will look like going forward?
Well, you would think, I mean, if you're Tampa, you got to go for the gusto right now. I mean, when you're that close and they've had a very good year, that window of opportunity, you know, starts closing.
Especially, and we've heard this from teams in the division. This isn't just our philosophy, but teams in the division will tell you, when you're not New York or Boston and you're having a year like this, you have to go for it.
Yes, you do.
Because you can't guarantee yourself that you'll be there every single year like the big boys, as Ibar draws the walk with 2 down here in the second inning. So for Tampa, I'm curious to see if they can pull something off before the deadline. John Jaso, their catcher, batting 7th, steps in here with a runner aboard and 2 down. Of course, Indians fans are wondering daily, will the Tribe make any more moves before the deadline? And certainly they've heard the rumors, they've heard the names that have been bandied about, like Jake Westbrook, Johnny Peralta, Austin Kearns, Kerry Wood, although he's still currently on the disabled list. And all I can say is right now all's quiet on the Western Front. So whether that's good news or bad news, I don't know. But we haven't heard even the slightest rumblings. The 0-1 pitch misses outside. Masterson missing low. 2 quick outs to start the inning, then the Rays get their first base runner aboard. Masterson 19 strikes, 17 balls to start the game. And a ground ball in the hole. Nix can't come up with it. Around second on his way to third is Ibar. And the Rays have runners at the corners with 2 down. Just a seeing eye single for John Jay. So Nix almost flagged it down. Had a long way to get to it.
Well, it was perfectly placed because when Laporta comes off the base, he gets under his glove, and then Nix had the best chance at it. Masterson would have had to be over at first base. And there it was right there. It gets under, so that's perfectly placed.
2 on, 2 out for Reed Brignac, who I mentioned a little while ago came in the same draft as today's starting pitcher for Tampa, Wade Davis. Brignac having a terrific year, batting .282. Fouled off the body of Carlos Santana. Brignac has really been tearing it up for Tampa on this current road trip, hitting .471. He's gone 8 for 17. He's starting his 28th game at second base. He's also started 26 games at short, a couple of games in right field. What's also interesting when you look at Brignac, he's primarily batted 8th and 9th in the lineup.
Right.
And yet he has as many runs batted in as Travis Hafner of the Indians. So he's been productive for Tampa.
Well, he's a rookie, and yeah, he's having a nice year. Third among rookies when you're talking about hits, and you think of the 2 rookies that Detroit has, Austin Jackson and you got Brennan Bosch. Those are a couple of really good rookies, but this kid's holding his own.
First and third, 2 down. Masterson coming off the hill, making sure those runners aren't taken off. Tampa trying to take a page from the Indians' scoring book this year and do it with 2 outs. A high fly ball, right field. Chu is back. He's running out of real estate in a hurry, leaps up at the wall, and it's gone. A 2-out, 3-run homer for Reed Brignac.
Well,
and the Rays take a 3-0 lead.
That's exactly what they did last night in that 5th inning when they scored. They had 2 outs, nobody on, and the 2-out walk to Ibar, a seeing eye base hit to Jaso, and then a 3-run homer for the youngster. Brignac hits his 6th. And let's see the location. It was a breaking ball, 82 miles an hour. It speeds up his bat head, and that is a big blow right there for Tampa. The 9th home run given up by Justin Masterson, and the 3rd home run in the last 2 days, and something that the pitching staff has done a terrific job not doing.
Jason Bartlett now steps in for the Rays, the number 9 hitter. And for Bartlett, .244 average, couple of homers, 35 runs batted in. David Price giving Reed Brignac some high fives. Ground ball headed to short as Dribble Cabrera gathers it, throws him out, and the inning is over. But Brignac's 3-run blast has the Rays now in front, 3-1. It's a 3-1 Rays lead, bottom of the second inning. Travis Hafner, Jason Nix, Trevor Crow for the Indians. And a ball down and in. Hafner 0 for 3 Friday night, did not play in last night's game. High pop foul, back out of play. Tampa Bay Rays had lost 18 consecutive games here at Progressive Field. And last night the Indians were ahead 3-0. But Tampa made a tremendous comeback in the game and held on for the victory to snap that streak. I heard a guy on, it was either ESPN radio or MLB radio this morning when I was driving in, and he was talking about that streak, and he used the phrase, "This streak defies logic."
Well, it is strange nowadays to see something like that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, for 2 or 3 years where you can't win a game in a ballpark, that's hard to believe.
And we've talked about it. I mean, we watch so much baseball, we know just how difficult it is to sweep a team.
Right.
And the Indians have done it in 3 games. They've done it in 4 games to Tampa, every which way. But finally, Tampa breaks through, and finally Travis Hafner lines one up the middle for a base hit. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Manny Acta talked about the streak coming to an end after last night's game.
I want to tell you that I found out about the streak 2 days ago. Because first of all, this is my first year here. And I had no history with the Tampa Bay Rays before. And I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in curses. I believe the Tribe had 18 good games against them here and beat them. And the way you stop streak, it's you score 6 runs and you have David Price on the mound. I think I take that against the 27 Yankees. 6 runs and David Price on the mound. That'll stop any streak. And
interesting point. He'll take David Price and 6 runs against the 27 Yankees.
Their problem has been scoring in the streak. You know, where what
Yep.
did you say? 12 times, 2 or less runs.
Yeah.
I think 7 or 8 times it was 1 or less, and you're not going to win baseball games like that. So it's really simple. Yeah, you put some runs on the board and you have a good pitcher on the mound.
And Jason Nix finds the hole, going the opposite way. Travis Hafner is going to stop at second, and the Indians have their first 2 men aboard here in the second inning.
See, it's almost like he guided that ball right into the hole. That was very nicely done. Hitting-wise, they were playing him up the middle, and he just serves it that way. Look at him, fight it off. He let it really get deep in there. That's a good job.
So 2 aboard now for Trevor Crow, as the Indians try to come right back. And, of course, the crazy thing about that streak, just to put it to bed one last time, is that even when the Rays did score a bunch of runs, the Indians would have their number. You know,
Right.
that's how you end up with a crazy streak like that.
In that streak, they came back from 10-0.
Yeah.
You know, and won the game. So that's how crazy it is.
When things like that happen, then you start getting people talking about jinxes and curses.
You can count on one hand how many times that any team will come back from a 10-0 lead. That's historical.
Crow, it's a called strike on the outside edge.
I mean, I bet we've only seen it maybe twice in this ballpark. One was against the Rays from 10 runs. The other one was Seattle.
Yeah.
That August 5th game here.
And that was a 12-run.
Yeah, that sure was. And that was in the 7th inning. I mean, other than that, I don't think they've ever done it here.
The 0-1. Foul back out of play. This will be pitch number 30 coming up for Wade Davis. 2 on, nobody out for the Indians here in the second. And Trevor Crow has certainly picked up the pace offensively. Swinging a hot bat here in the month of July.
Well, he's very good with runners in scoring position. One of the best.
Yeah. 356 average with runners in scoring position for Crow. Big bouncer to first. This will move the runners up, so It is a productive out, as you like to say, and the Indians have runners at second and third for Andy Marte. Since June 27th, The Indians are 15-9. And they're right there with the Yankees and the Rays. Now, Oakland, they've been red hot of late, too. I think Oakland's won, 8 out of their last 10 coming into today, so they're on a pretty good run.
Yeah, we will see the New York Yankees tomorrow for a 4-game series.
For the record, Oakland is 7.5 games out in the West. So they're still within striking distance.
Well, and the Angels are, 7 games out? Or 6. They won last night. That's right.
Andy Marte. The pitch. And a ground ball. Diving stop by Bartlett. Throws to third. They get the out there. And the Indians get a run in as Hafner scores from third base. Well, Nix aggressively thought he could get to third with the ground ball. But Bartlett alertly got up and threw him out.
Well, that was a good play by Bartlett. And not really a good base running job for Nix. He should make sure that ball gets through. It's at the shortstop, and just going that way, it throws him out easily from his knees. You're in scoring position. You have to make sure that ball goes through. The guy from third's going to score. What he did, he ended up causing Andy Marte a hit.
So a runner at first with 2 down for Michael Brantley, who walked and scored his first time up. Indians now down a run, 3-2 here in the second inning. Brantley 1 for 3 in the series. And a ground ball. Foul. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what the Indians do come Tuesday. They've got to make a roster move to get a starting pitcher for Tuesday's game against the New York Yankees. Manny active, Mark Shapiro, Chris Antonetti. Of course, they've got the task of selecting a pitcher to make that start and selecting a player who will leave the roster, whether it be somebody that goes back down to AAA.
Well, you're right. Depending on who they call up, what they have to do. Huff, who's on the 40-man roster, you could just send somebody out. But if it's who's the youngster that has a chance to pitch?
Josh Tomlin is somebody that's been mentioned.
He's not a 40-man, so they'd have to create a spot on the 40-man roster for him.
So 1-2 pitch. Have to go. Runner goes. Brantley bangs it up the middle, and Brantley will throw him out. Excuse me, Bartlett will throw out Brantley. And the inning is over, but the Indians will pick up a run on a couple of hits here in the second inning. It's 3-2 Rays after 2. greatness moment. Well, kids, fun day here at Progressive Field. Kids will be running the bases after the ball game. And they're celebrating Slider's 20th birthday.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Ben Zobrist will lead off for Tampa. Looks at the ball down low. So in dog years, how old is Slider?
Well, he should be about 140. Are you calling Slider a dog?
No, I'm just saying, mascots probably age more than the average human.
I'm going to talk to him about that.
Call him a dog.
Call him a dog. That's I think it averages out to 7 years.
I just think if you wear that gear around, you're going to lose some years off your age. It's got to wear you down.
Well, let's go.
It's probably in reverse.
Yeah, let's go 2 for 1. Let's say 40.
Jason Nix throws out Zobrist, 1 down.
Wow.
Time now for the AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. The only player to win the MVP while playing for a last-place team. Carl Crawford, then Evan Longoria here in the third for the Rays. Crawford struck out his first time up. The 1-0 pitch. It's hard enough to win an MVP if you play on a losing team, let alone a last-place team.
Yes, it is. You have to have some kind of great year.
2 balls and a strike. Now the 2-1. Low and away. Crawford rakes that ball foul.
Send out some birthday wishes. Franklin Kirk of Lakewood turning 92 today. Happy birthday to you, Franklin. Samantha Jewell of Brunswick is 17.
Payoff pitch. And again, he's just a little bit out in front of it, but Crawford teeing off on that inside pitch.
Also like to send it out to Niagara Falls, my brother Terry. His birthday today. He's always watching the ball games. Terry, happy birthday. And Mel and Georgine Walters celebrating their 46th anniversary.
Crawford draws a walk with 1 out here in the third. He has 33 stolen bases on the year.
Yeah, that's not the guy you want to walk. Because he can turn it into a double. He has 33 this year. He's been thrown out 8 times. Justin Masterson, runners are 8 for 12 off him in stolen base attempts.
Longoria looked like he was taken all the way, and of course when you've got a guy like Crawford on the bases, you feel compelled to at least take a couple of pitches.
You do want to give him a chance early. If you're a hitter, unless you get your pitch that you're looking for and it's a fastball down the middle, then you get after it. Now, he doesn't worry about it. He's on his own.
0-2 the count.
But that's when you play with each other and you're in that lineup and Longoria's hitting behind him and he has all year long, they have a feel for each other. He knows when he wants to run or certain pitches he'll take off on.
Up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hey, fans, don't forget Chuck Galletti will be taking over the bleachers tomorrow night. He's selling tickets for just $10, and everyone in the bleachers will get a Beat the Yankee hanky. Go to Indians.com/STO to order your $10 tickets now.
Yeah, you can't buy him here. You got to order him.
Longoria strikes out, 2 down. Good pitch by Masterson. Looked like he ran it up the ladder a bit. And Longoria couldn't help himself, 2 down.
Well, he's sitting down and away, and he got a fastball that just took off, and it rode upstairs on him. And he throws it by him. So second out in the inning, second strikeout for Masterson.
But just to reiterate your point. The only way you can get those $10 bleacher tickets, go online, Indians.com/STO. $10 bleacher tickets.
Love to have them packed.
Watch the Tribe and the Yankees tomorrow night.
That's bringing back the old days from 1977.
Pena with a hard ground ball to the second baseman, Nix, out on the outfield grass, takes care of him. And we'll go to the bottom of the third here at Progressive Field. 3-2, Tampa. Slider celebrating his birthday today here at Progressive Field. Kids' fun day.
Hugs and kisses all the way around today.
Indians try to take 2 out of 3 from Tampa as Justin Masterson and Tim Belcher confer. 3-2 Rays on top as Drupal Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo, Carlos Santana for the Indians. Here's a called strike. Good off-speed pitch from Davis. Drops it in. A little bit low. Fastball. Into the glove of Pena at first. Just went down with the backhand.
Well, he better test somebody else. The first time he tried Pena, he picked him over there at first, and he gets a line drive over there. Well, the Indians take on the Yankees 4-game series starting tomorrow night. You can check out the AM/PM all-you-can-eat seats. Unlimited food for just $32 per ticket. Visit Indians.com or call 216-420-HITS.
Shin-Soo Choo with a base hit his first time up. A little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Choo 4 for 7 in the series. He came off the disabled list looking like he never went on it. Big bouncing ball to first, Pena. The flip, 2 down. Let's pause right now for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here at Progressive Field as the Tribe wraps up this 3-game weekend series against the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-2. Tampa leads it. Carlos Santana drove in one of those runs for the Indians in the first with a sacrifice fly to right field. Santana still looking for his first hit in the series.
Well, Carlos has cooled off a little bit at home, hitting just .217.
Almost the same number of at-bats home and road, but it's a difference of 7 hits. So when you put it in that context, it doesn't sound as bad.
That's exactly right. Well, again, too, teams are starting to pitch him differently, depending on who's hitting behind him. And Tommy looked this up. When you have Hafner hitting behind him, he's 15 for 59, which comes out to 254. When you have Kearns behind him, he's 17 for 47, comes out to 362. And I guess no matter how you look at it, they were trying to feel should they hit Santana third, put Chu fourth, and that could vary. That could change. Because now Chu, you thought he was going to miss a little bit coming back into the lineup, but he picked up right where he left off.
Well, there's a ball just bang right back up the middle. Looked like a hanger, and an off-speed pitch from Davis, and Santana just waited back on it nicely. 2-out single keeps the inning alive now for Matt Laporta.
The right-handers in this series have struggled, Matt. They're 5 for 37. And the only right-handers in that lineup today, Laporta, Nix, Marte.
Swung on and missed by Matt Laporta. Laporta struck out his first time up, moved up into that 5 hole, 0 for 7 in the series. Pop back into the seats. Bottom of the third here at Progressive Field as the Indians trail the Rays by a score of 3-2. Tampa got all 3 with one swing of the bat. A 2-out, 3-run homer by Reed Brignac in the second. The 0-2 delivery. Bounced it in there, and Santana got a good jump. He read it all the way and goes into second base standing on the wild pitch.
Well, that's what you anticipate when you're on first base and you have an 0-2, 1-2 count, a breaking ball in the dirt. Santana read it easily, and he cruises into second base. Yeah, you mentioned that 3-run homer, second consecutive days that 3-run homer has given him the lead in the ball game, and the second consecutive day it came with 2 outs and nobody on. So they were able to do it with 2 outs.
And Laporta goes down swinging to end the inning. 3-2 Tampa through 3 innings of play. 3-2 Tampa as we go to the fourth inning. Here at Progressive Field, Travis Hafner. Travis Hafner will lead off the bottom of the fourth, but here in the top of the fourth, it's going to be Matt Joyce, Willie Ibar, and John Jaso. Justin Masterson's only given up 2 hits. They came consecutively in the second inning after he had 2 out. He walked Ibar, then Jaso singled, and Reed Brignac hit the 3-run homer. Other than that, he's been terrific.
7 of his 9 outs coming on the ground, as they usually do.
Jason Nix has 5 assists already, the Indians' second baseman. Matt Joyce grounded to second his first time up, 1 for 7 in the series. Back out of play.
Because Masterson is first in the league with ground ball, fly ball ratio. 3.3 ground balls to every fly ball he gives. That's very good. But the one fly ball he gave up today left the yard.
Yeah.
There were a couple aboard.
Elsewhere in the division today, Detroit at home against Toronto, scoreless in the 5th. Ground ball base hit for Matt Joyce. It's in the gap. Chew over to cut it off. Baltimore leads Minnesota 1-0 there in the second inning at Camden Yards. Minnesota 2 games in back of front running Chicago as we start today. Detroit just 2.5 games off the pace. White Sox will be in action later today out in Oakland. So the Rays get their leadoff man aboard for the first time today. Brings up Willie Ibar. Walked his first time up. Missed outside to even the count. It's amazing. So many times when you're watching a baseball game, guy will be cruising along, 2-out walk. And that ends up leading to a couple of runs or a big inning.
I think more so than you think. That everybody looks at it as a leadoff walk, and that's not good. But it seems like any walk is never any good. They have a tendency to come back and haunt you. I mean, you look like you said, every walk this series that Tampa has made in the first inning have come around to score for the Indians.
Runner goes in the hole. Nix with a diving effort kicks off his glove, and that's going to enable Joyce to go to third. So back-to-back singles for the Rays to open the fourth inning.
It's almost a sad thing that Nix was able to get to that ball and knock it down, because what happened is that Joyce picked it up and he realized he could get to third base. If that goes through, I don't think he tries to run on Chu's arm, to be honest with you. But once he knocked it down, that ball trickled away. It enabled him to go to third base.
So the Rays are in business now here in the fourth inning. They've got first and third, nobody out, and John Jaso is the batter. He had a base hit his first time up. A little bit low for ball one. Jaso was 0 for 3 in the first game of the series. Kelly Shoppick got the start last night behind the plate. Takes a strike to even the count. That wind is really whipping in from straight center field.
It's sort of changed and it's blowing straight in. If that wind was here in April, it'd be a cold one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's cooled things off. Very comfortable here in downtown Cleveland. Meanwhile, Justin Masterson has made 70 pitches so far here today. 39 have been for strikes. The 1-1. Bouncer to first. Laporta looks the runner back, goes to second, gets one. The return throw is in time, a double play. And Matt Laporta could not have executed that any better.
You know, that's exactly right. He looked the runner back at third and then went for the lead runner. But I didn't realize they were going to be able to come back and get that double play, but there is a catcher running. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. For the situation, first and third. Look at him. Look back. Let me go to second. Come back to first. Nicely done, and the man remains at third base. So now a chance to get out of it for Justin Masterson, and a nice play there by Matt Laporta.
So a runner at third with 2 down, and Reed Brignac playing the lead villain today with that 2-out, 3-run homer in the second. Cuts and misses there. Well, if Masterson can get out of this, that will be a huge pick-me-up for him.
Well, and this offense, because they can come right back in. They stay 1 run down.
And a line drive to short to end the inning. Boy, this game almost got away from the Tribe, but Matt Laporta with a heads-up double play, short-circuiting the Rays rally. 3-2 Tampa, middle of the fourth. Back here at Progressive Field, it's a 3-2 Tampa lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Cloudy, but no rain. It rained before the ball game. They had the tarp out. Brandon Kahnke and his grounds crew, they've had their hands full on this homestand so far with lots of rain.
Looks good tomorrow, though. Tomorrow looks like a beautiful day.
In fact, I think I saw the high is only about 83, so it'll be a beautiful day. Yeah, good evening to come on down and watch the Indians battle the New York Yankees. Again, you can still get a bleacher seat for just $10 by logging on to Indians.com/STO. Bronx Bombers, 61 wins heading into today's action. Last check, they were tied with Kansas City 2-2. Hafner with a line drive toward left center field. That's in the alley. That will go to the wall. Cronk on his way to second base. He's got his second leadoff hit of the day. He singled in the second, scoring a run for the Tribe. He doubles here in the fourth.
Well, there's your start to the inning right now. Your double, nobody on. See if they can execute. Hafner, that looked like maybe a sinking fastball that he left up that he takes the other way.
Keeps that streak alive. 47 straight games now for the Indians with an extra base hit. And Jason Nix, who singled his first time up, will be the batter now, trying to move Hafner to third at the very least. That's the tying run right now.
Well, he had that base hit the other way last time, you know, where he stayed inside it nicely. He's going to try and do the same thing right here.
This will be pitch number 60 for Wade Davis coming up. And the 0-1. Almost hit him in the foot. Did it get him? Yes, it did.
Oh, okay.
It sure did. So the Indians have 2 on with nobody out. Did it get him in the knee? Let's take another look here.
Well, I know it was down below, and he had to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It deflected off his knee.
Well, Trevor Crowe, the batter, and we talked him up his last time to the plate about how well he's done this year with runners in scoring position. He grounded out on that at bat, but he did move both runners over in the process, and that led to a run for the Indians. So he's 21 for 60 now with runners in scoring position on the year. And that ball in the dirt. Oh, Jim Hickey sprinting out of that Tampa dugout. I don't know if after he saw Crowe square around, he wanted to go out and deliver a message.
I think he just doesn't want him to start falling behind the hitters here. Hey, look, stay within yourself. He hit the hitter before. You know, so what if he bunts? You got to throw strikes. He's trying to sacrifice himself. You've got the 8 and 9 hitters to follow. Don't lose control of it. You know, don't give in. You know, and with the young pitchers, and he's a rookie, the game has a tendency to speed up in situations like this. And I think he's just walking out there to slow him down a little bit and just remind him, hey, stay aggressive, get after it.
Don't worry about making the perfect pitch, just execute.
Right. If he bunts the ball, fine. Let him bunt the ball. It's only a sacrifice bunt, and you go to work on the next hitter.
That next hitter would be Andy Marte. And we'll see if Crowe stays with the bunt. He does square. Bunts at third base side.
Good job.
Longoria throws to first to retire Crowe. Sacrifice 5-4. Be a good place for a home run, wouldn't it? And if the Indians homer, will raise more money for the gathering place today. Closing in on $5,000 raised so far this year for every homer hit by the Tribe. Great Clips donates $50. Rick and I are each chipping in $5 apiece for every Indians homer. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about the gathering place, which helps individuals and family members with programs offered free of charge from 2 locations, one in Beechwood, one in Westlake. Marte goes after that first pitch and puts it out of play.
Well, this is the same situation in the second inning. Marte hit a ball in the hole at short, and there was a base running mistake that Nix made because Hafner came in to score, and then Bartlett threw Nix out at third base. Marte was on first.
Fastball away. With a runner at third base and less than 2 out, the Indians 0 for 5 in this series. Marte trying to change all of that right here. Up high, Wade Davis missing with his 65th pitch of the afternoon. Marte with Hafner at third and Nix at second. And he's in a good count here, 2-1. Call to strike. That'll even things up. Rays expecting Marte to pull the ball. Bartlett really pulled around on the left side of the infield. The shortstop over toward third, trying to take that hole away.
Boy, that was a good fastball to hit 2-1 with the count in your favor.
And he chased after a bad one there. Second out of the inning. Third strikeout for Wade Davis. And Andy Marte 0 for 2.
Yeah, he took his fastball and then he swung at the breaking ball. It's way out of the zone. It's too bad because, I mean, you had a situation there. So now it's going to have to come with 2 outs.
Now, I watch a swing like that from Andy Martin. I think back to when you've talked about guys guessing. It looked like he was straight guessing on a ball like that.
Well, if you're going to guess, the 2-1 pitch for the fastball. I mean, the count's in your favor. You figure he doesn't want to fall behind 3-1, so you look for the fastball, but he took the fastball, and then he ended up chasing that breaking ball, thinking he was going to get another one, and he didn't.
Now let's see if Michael Brantley can get the clutch 2-out hit for the Tribe. He walked and scored in the first, grounded out his last time up. Brantley is 6 for 19 with a runner in scoring position on the year. Two balls, no strikes. As Drupal Cabrera would be next. If Brantley keeps the inning alive, this will be pitch number 70 now for Davis.
Now here's where you want to sit on a fastball. And if you get it, you want to get after with 2 outs, a 2-0 count. You don't want to spot him a fastball here.
He lines it toward left, sinking, but Crawford is there to grab it, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, 2 men left in scoring position. It's still 3-2 Tampa as we head to the 5th. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. New real fruit smoothies are now available in wild berry and strawberry banana flavors. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's, now open in Chagrin Falls, Solon, and Brunswick. Visit paninisgrill.com. Justin Masterson's first pitch of the 5th inning to Jason Bartlett is a fastball for strike 1. Ground ball to third, kicks off Marte's chest. And an error on the Indians' third baseman will allow Bartlett to reach.
There's a look right at him. That hop, it is an in-between hop, but he doesn't field it. 72nd error for the Tribe this year.
Throw dug out by Laporta at first. Ben Zobrist, couple of ground outs to second base. Bartlett has pretty good wheels.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that they will put in motion, and they could put in motion.
I would think you'd almost be compelled to with the ground ball pitcher that Masterson is.
That's a good point. They tried to do it the other night with Carmona on the mound like you do, with so many ground ball double plays. Same thing with Masterson. When you know you're going to get ground balls, that's the purpose of starting guys. because you can make holes on the infield and a chance to find that hole in first and third. They did it last inning with the first and third. Justin got out of it.
Now Zobrist, too, has grounded out twice to the second baseman.
There. Well, he gave you the false start. He'll be running here, I would believe. 2-1 count.
Now, if you're the Indians, you've almost got to have Cabrera covering because he's hit the ball twice to the second baseman.
Well, yeah, and as a hitter, he knows that, so he may
try to punch it the other way if he
try
can.
And slap it to left field. The key with a hit and run is you just put it on the ground. It's not put it in the air. They don't even start them.
Well, fouls it back. 2-2 the count. The Yankees have gone ahead of the Royals 4-3 in the fourth in the Bronx. Next pitch will be number 80 for Justin Masterson. And the 2-2 is ripped down into the right field corner. Foul. You know, Rick, let's take a look at our GMC 5-Star League leaders, brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. Runner goes. Pitch inside, throw down to second base, not in time. So Bartlett gets the steal. That's his 7th stolen base on the year.
Well, you had a feeling you were going to send him, and eventually he goes. It's deep in the count. He might have had an opportunity to get up and go to third, but decided to stay there at second. So the error now in scoring position.
And a ground ball foul again. Zobrist keeps fighting him off. Rick talked about this earlier. Masterson can put the ball on the ground. Weak tapper hit to first. Laporta. The flip. One away, but Bartlett ends up at third base. Let's go back to the studios for this in-game update with Al Pulowski.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's go to New York, where Alex Rodriguez is looking for career home run number 600. Didn't get it there, but it's an RBI double to bring in Teixeira. The Yankees lead the Royals now 4-3. They're in the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium. Back to you.
Rick, I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't seem to sense any real groundswell of anticipation for the 600th home run that Alex Rodriguez is about to hit.
No,
that used to be a huge milestone.
Well, absolutely, but it's, I think, all because of the steroid issues and the things that have gone on in the past, and he admitted it. Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. Absolutely.
Doesn't seem to carry the same emphasis that it once did because of all that.
There's only been 6 guys in the history of the game with over 600 home runs. It should be a big deal.
And that story kind of serves as a backdrop on this Hall of Fame induction weekend. And certainly it doesn't take anything away, I mean it that way, from the careers of Andre Dawson and Whitey Herzog were being inducted. Crawford lifts the ball deep to left. That's going to get the run home as Crow backs up to just in front of the warning track. Bartlett scores. And it's now a 4-2 Tampa lead as Crawford picks up his 53rd run batted in on the year. But I think that 600 home run that he's sitting on and sort of the take on it, you know, the fans' lukewarm interest in it, even the media's lukewarm interest in it, that sort of serves as a backdrop because, you know, in the coming years, baseball is going to have to deal with his head on with the guys who are going to come up on the ballot.
That's exactly right. It's going to be here before you know it. Well, you know what? We'll see. He may hit it here in this ballpark, and we'll get firsthand view of how fans react to it. He doesn't get it. He's going to have 4 games here with an opportunity to get it starting tomorrow night.
Good point.
I mean, when you think about it, 600 home runs, that's a lot.
A ton of homers.
And, you know, I remember when A-Rod first came up, and as a shortstop, boy, the talent, and he still does have talent. He can hit.
I mean, look at the career that we got to watch firsthand for so many years of Jim Thome, who's sitting on 575.
Yeah.
Or last check, anyway. I don't know if he's hit one since we were
he's
there.
in that, neighborhood, right. He and A-Rod are what, the only 2 guys to hit it for 3 different teams? What was it, 40 home runs?
Longoria strikes out. He wanted to slam his bat down on the ground in frustration, but stopped short of that. 3rd strikeout for Masterson, but the Rays tack on a run. 4-2 Tampa. Four-2, Rays on top as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Progressive Field as Drupal Cabrera will lead off, looks at a ball inside. Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo, and Carlos Santana all due up for the Tribe here in the 5th. Wade Davis gave up a run on the 1st, and he gave up one more in the 2nd. Since then, he's been able to wriggle off the hook. A couple of scoring opportunities for the Tribe, but they can't seem to cash in. 2-0 pitch. And a called strike. Their best opportunity came in the 4th. They had 2nd and 3rd with 1 out after the sac bunt by Trevor Crowe. And then Andy Marte struck out and Michael Brantley lined out. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, when you don't take advantage of the situation they had last inning, and then you give an opportunity the very following inning where you give up an unearned run, that hurts because, I mean, that's a big difference of 2 runs in a ball game, you think. The Indians, that was their 47th unearned run given up this year. And when you turn around and look at it, the Rays have the best pitching in the league. They've given up 23, so it's 2-1.
Cabrera bloops one toward right. Coming hard is Joyce. Will he get there? No, but Brignac does. Over the shoulder grab by the Rays second baseman for out number 1. Here's our recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Carlos Santana's sacrifice fly in the 1st, but the Indians on top 1-0. But Reed Brignac with a 2-out 3-run homer in the 2nd made it 3-1 Rays. And then Carl Crawford with a sacrifice fly. 4-2 Tampa here in the 5th. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Shin-Soo Choo 1 out of 2 today. Base hit in the 1st, grounded out to first base in the 3rd. And a strike is called. 1-2 the count for Chu. Popped him up, foul. This should be back in the seats, and it is.
Well, it was.
That ricochet.
Off a seat right back into Chu's hand.
Took a three-man relay to get it back over into the crowd. Wade Davis with a 1-2. And he's wide with that pitch. Chu and the Indians looking for some comeback mojo here this afternoon. Tied him up with a good fastball. Fourth strikeout for Wade Davis, 2 down here in the 5th inning. And back we go to the studios once again for this in-game update with Al.
All right, man, we go to Baltimore where the Orioles led the Twins 1-0 until the top of the 3rd here. Jason Kubel with a grand slam. That puts Minnesota ahead now 4-1. They're in the top of the 4th at Camden Yards. Back to you.
Now that's something the Twins need with Justin Morneau still sidelined. And Morneau, who's been able to work out as he gets back to baseball activities. Pena makes the grab, but he was right over the bag and the baseline, and he's lucky that Santana was able to pull up. Inning over. Indians go in order. And we go to the 6th, 4-2, Tampa. The game is Kellogg's Rice Krispie Treats for $1.98 at any Northeast Ohio Mark's location. (4-2) Rays on top. Young fans hoping to see the Indians rally here today, but thus far the bats have been a little quiet since they jumped out to the early 1-0 lead. Justin Masterson will face Carlos Pena, Matt Joyce, Willie Ibar with activity in the Tribe pen. Masterson starts the inning at 91 pitches on the day. Pretty good pitch, but it's called a ball. That one's hit right back to Masterson. Nice grab with the glove for out number 1. Have a look at our Subway fresh face of the game right now. Alex White, former top pick out of North Carolina of the Indians. 7 innings, Did give up 8 hits, but only 1 run, struck out 7. How about that? In his last 6 starts, he's 4-1 with an 0.94 ERA. Gotta believe he could be headed to AAA fairly soon.
Well, those are very impressive numbers right there.
And who knows, Rick, maybe.
Well, maybe he will after, they make a move today to see who's starting on Tuesday.
Yep. That is hammered by Joyce to right at Chu. And that is out number 2.
Well, enjoy 2 Cleveland sports for one low price with the new Indians-Browns 4-pack. You get tickets to the Tuesday Yankees game and the August 14th Mariners game, plus Browns home opener and the Chiefs on September 19th, and the Browns and Panthers on November 28th, all for just $99.
The 0-1 is a called strike. Quickly 0-2 the count. Masterson trying to run right through the Rays order here in the 6th. Oh, and he was ready to fire, and Ibar stepped out quickly.
I was thinking he's working a lot quicker this inning for some strange reason. Like to see that. Make those hitters call timeout.
Shoots it foul. Now the 2-strike pitch. Two-strike pitch. Swung out and missed. He got him. Masterson's 4th strikeout of the afternoon. And he retires the side in order for the 2nd time today. But it's still the Rays on top 4-2. Four-2, Rays still on top. Bottom of the 6th inning. It will be Matt Laporta, Travis Hafner, and Jason Nix on this Kids Fun Day here at Progressive Field. Laporta 0 for 2. He has struck out both times here today. Ground ball to short. Bartlett throws him out, 1 away. Well, let's get the answer to our AT&T trivia question. AT&T, rethink possible. Only player to win the MVP while playing for a last-place team.
He's getting inducted today.
Is that Andre the Hawk Dawson with the Expos?
I believe so.
Oh, it was the Cubs in '87. Cubs win. Cubs win.
49 homers, 137 ribbies.
Hard to ignore that even if you are on a last-place team.
Yeah, that was before the big home run era.
Travis Hafner with a base hit, and that led to a run in the second when he led off with that single. Then he led off the fourth with a double. And after Jason Nix was hit by a pitch, Trevor Crowe bunted both runners over. But the Indians failed to get him home.
Yeah, that was a big turning point in this game. It gave them that insurance run. They didn't score there, and they went out and gave up an unearned run.
Bounced it in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maniac hoping to see Hafner put a jolt into a ball and wake up this Indians offense. The 1-2. Taps it over the head and into center field. So Hafner a perfect 3 for 3 on the day. Today's achievement of the game is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in us all. Andre Dawson, 21 years, 8 times an All-Star, and 8 gold gloves. Whitey Herzog, of course, world championship manager with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Doug Harvey, old National League umpire.
That's right.
Jason Nix lines one to center field, and Zobrist is right there to grab it, 2 away. So up comes Trevor Crowe, who has grounded out and laid down a sacrifice bunt. Toronto leading Detroit 3-2. They're in the 7th inning at Comerica Park. Ball in the dirt. Trevor Crowe, 2 for 6 in the series. His 2 hits came in the series opener. He had a double, and then he had a homer in the 6th inning. As the Indians won that game, the series opener. Two balls and no strikes. Minnesota up on Baltimore 5-1. They're in the 4th at Camden Yards. Yankees lead the Royals 5-3 in New York. Crowe with a routine bouncer to second, and the inning is over. 6 complete from Progressive Field. It's 4-2 Tampa. More of what's possible at ATT.com. AT&T Rethink Possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's. Justin Masterson starts the 7th inning at 100 pitches. And John Jaso looks at a ball down low. The Rays catcher singled and scored in the 2nd inning, bounced into a double play in the 4th. Masterson gave up a walk and a hit after 2 men were out in the 2nd, and then a 3-run homer to Reed Brignac. And he also gave up an unearned run in the 5th inning. Got out of a jam in the 4th with a double play ball that Jaso hit into. But currently on the short end of the 4-2 score. That ball's plugged into the gap. Could be extra bases for Jaso, and it will be. He'll go into second base with a leadoff double.
Double number 8 for Jaso as he's going to find that gap. It's a breaking ball left up and out over the plate that he turns on. Hits the gap, so they will get their leadoff man aboard. We'll see what they have in store with Brignac, the hitter, and then Bartlett following. Trying to add on one more insurance run if they can.
And a ground ball, backhanded by Cabrera. He'll go to third, and they got him. Nicely done by Asdrubal Cabrera, and really poor base running by John Jaso.
2 young players right there, and they made a mistake. Now it was their turn. Brignac's up there. You got to try and pull that ball, and he slapped it that way. Went with that pitch. Watch, he just guides it that way, and has a poor base running mistake because Jaso thinking he's going to get to third base. An easy play for Cabrera, so they take that man out of scoring position. So now it's Tampa's turn for a base running mistake.
I mean, balls hit in front of you, you've got to make it go through, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially in front of you, you break back to the bag. You got to know where your infielders are. And that's, it's a common mistake you'll see. I mean, that's one thing. You're already in scoring position. You have to make sure you can get to third base without getting tagged out, especially when you're a guy that can't run. You're not a speedster to try and make something happen. You're a normal catcher, so you just got to, let the ball go through.
Runner goes, and Bartlett slashing it out of play. Yeah, Jaso's lack of speed was illustrated back in that 4th inning when he hit into the double play, because he hit a ball to first where Laporta had time to look the runner back to third, throw to second, get back to first, and cover the bag to complete that double play.
Exactly right. And you don't blame catchers. They're not fast. They're not going to run anyway. But it's just knowing the situation.
By the way, our scoreboard update was brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's. Jason Bartlett scored an unearned run back in the 5th inning. He hit a ground ball to third that looked fairly harmless at the time, but Andy Marte couldn't handle it. And then Bartlett stole second, came around to score on a sac fly. And it's up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two. Shoots it out of play. Justin Masterson logging 111 pitches here today. Believe it or not, his season high was in his first start in the month of May. Bartlett is out looking. That's his 5th strikeout. Masterson made 117 pitches back on May the 1st.
Well, you're going to get a look at 2 base running mistakes. One by the Indians, Jason Nix getting thrown out at third base. One by the Rays with nobody out. And you're going to see John Jaso getting thrown out. Both those guys, both mistakes. And it looks like Maniac is out there. Is he talking, or did he already make the call?
I think he's already made his decision, but he's just telling Justin Masterson, I guess, fine job. Nothing you can do about the unearned run. Kept his team in the game. He's given them at least an opportunity. But they're on the short end 4-2. Still 4-2 Tampa. Rays have a runner aboard with 2 out here in the 7th. Justin Masterson out. Terrific job, really, by the Indians pitcher. That one mistake he made, the 2-out, 3-run homer hit by Reed Brignac in the 2nd that cost him. And this pitching change is brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Rafael Perez on for the 43rd time this year.
Coming on to try and get the final out here in the 7th. Flipping Ben Zobrist over to the right side of the plate. He's pretty similar on both sides. Left-handed, he's hitting 277. Right-handed, 266. But a little better power from the left side. 5 of his 6 home runs have come left-handed. Yeah, unfortunately, another decent start, but no run support for Justin Masterson, and that's what really hurt him early part of the year. They couldn't score when that guy was on the mound.
Runner goes. Thrown out to second by Santana. See you later. Reed Brignac gunned down, and the inning is over. Stretch time in Cleveland. 4-2 Tampa. 4-2, Rays on top, stretch time here at Progressive Field. A reminder that Panini's is the home of the overstuffed sandwich with 3 new locations now open in Chagrin Falls, Solon, and Brunswick, coming soon to Twinsburg. Log on to paninisgrill.com for a list of all locations. Bottom of the 7th inning for the Tribe will feature Andy Marte, Michael Brantley, and Asdrubal Cabrera. Wade Davis, the Rays starter, 93 pitches on the afternoon. There is some activity in the Tampa bullpen, so they'll keep a close eye on him. He's gone as many as 112 pitches. That was just 2 starts ago.
That was against us then, wasn't it?
It sure was. A 7-inning affair against the Indians. Marte 0 for 2. Missed up high for ball 1.
Very similar games when he was matched up against Westbrook back then in Tampa. He left that game with the Tampa up 5-2. Right now it's 4-2.
Andy Marte with a leadoff single to center field. Let's pause now for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here at Progressive Field, and a reminder to tune in again to Channel 3 this Thursday when the Tribe takes on the New York Yankees in prime time. 7 o'clock right here on Channel 3, Tribe and the Bronx Bombers. Down in the dirt, Chaso with a good stop. Michael Brantley today, 0 for 2, walked and scored back in the first inning. Marte without a steal. He's not going anywhere. Sometimes, though, those throws over to first are called from the dugout, and they may want to do a couple of those to make sure that Joaquin Benoit has enough time to warm up.
You saw that yesterday. Is that what you're talking about?
4 in a row.
It was with Price on the mound after he sent him back out there for the extra inning. Yeah, that was the stall when he went out in the 8th inning and he walked. What was it? He walked the leadoff man, Jason Donald. Then let's see, Shopik went out there. The second baseman came in, and they were doing the stall tactic. Dean Smith, 4 corner.
Strike called, 2-1. Joe Madden, his team, with a 4-2 lead here in the 7th.
Well, they will head home after today's game for their longest homestand of the year. 11 games in 11 days. They've been on the road since the All-Star break. Starting in New York, down into Baltimore, and here into Cleveland.
Then I think they've got their longest homestand of the year, right?
Right, 11 days, 11 games.
You got a 4-gamer starting tomorrow against Detroit.
Oh, it doesn't get easier for Detroit, does it?
Tigers are dropping like flies. Brantley with a ground ball towards second. Brignac goes to second base, gets the lead runner. Not in time on the return throw, but it was very close to a double play. Runner at first, 1 out. We'll go back to the studios for this quick in-game update on those Detroit Tigers. Here's Al.
All right, Matt, tie game here in the 7th inning until Vernon Wells unties it with his 20th homer of the year. Makes it 3-2 Blue Jays, but in the bottom of the 8th now, Tigers have the tying run on third with nobody out. Back to you.
Wade Davis's day is over after 6 1/3 innings of work. He heads to the showers. Joaquin Benoit is coming on when we come back. We're back here at Progressive Field where the Rays hold a 4-2 advantage over the Indians. Tribe has the tying run at the plate. And right-hander Joaquin Benoit on for the 35th time this year for the Tampa Bay Rays. Benoit, what a year he's having. An 0.83 earned run average.
Yeah,
32 and 2/3 innings.
Very, very good. He came on. He's got the good fastball. Gets ahead of you, likes to put you away with the split finger pitch that we witnessed last night.
This guy went under the knife just 1 month before spring training began. Actually, well, less than that. It was January 27th when he had surgery to repair a torn right rotator cuff. And that was January of 2009. And then missed all of 2009. Must have been one of those deals where, he went into the offseason not really thinking it was going to be an issue, and then all of a sudden realized this is not getting any better. And normally you don't see a major surgery that late in an offseason.
No, that's true.
But repaired his torn right rotator cuff, and it was Dr. Kremchek down in Cincinnati, who's the Reds medical director, that did the surgery. Then after spending the entire season on the DL, he signed on with the Tampa Bay Rays. And he didn't even sign. He didn't even sign until February 15th.
Yeah, people probably not wanting to take a chance, figuring they were going to have to rehab this guy pretty much this year. But he has been the setup guy for another one they traded for with Soriano.
Sometimes you get lucky that way. Take a chance, pays off. Cabrera with a line drive into right field. Brantley hits second. He'll stay right there. And the Indians now have the tying run at first base with 1 out. As Drupal Cabrera's first hit today, his 4th hit in the series.
Well, that's exactly what happened to him yesterday when they came in to face Benoit. He ended up, after the walk, there was a base hit in the inning that he gave up, and he had to get out of the inning with the tying run coming to the plate, and he struck out Santana. Well, now with 1 out, he's going to face Chu and possibly Santana. So he's going to have to do it again here in the bottom half of the 7th with the tying runner on base.
Joaquin Benoit, like so many pitchers, was a starter who just never quite put it all together as a starter. Back in 2003 with the Rangers, he had 17 starts and an ERA of 5.49. In 2004, he had 15 starts and an ERA of 5.68. And then they eventually moved him to the bullpen full-time in 2006. Had his first breakout year, really, in 2007 with the Rangers. He pitched in 70 games that year and had a 285 earned run average. But that also probably led him down the path of surgery, too.
Yeah, 80 appearances. Yeah, it doesn't surprise you.
You go from starter to all of a sudden you're in 70 games out of the bullpen. Benoit, the 0-1 pitch. Chu.
Is that a good splitter?
Yeah. A split changeup.
Chu had his fastball to hit. He fouled off first pitch. And they saw that very good. Look at the split. That's a good shot of the grip where you can see that ball, the bottom just falls out of it.
But at 86, it's more like a split changeup because it's
a big
difference in velocity from the fastball.
Well, when you're a pitcher and you throw that pitch, you usually have big hands or long fingers.
Chu taps it toward first. Pena will beat him to the bag for out number 2. Indians at second and third with 2 down for Carlos Santana.
Well, you were talking about the Yankees series. It's Budweiser's 2 for Tuesday when the Indians face the Yankees. That'll be Tuesday night. You get 2 tickets in the bleachers and $20 in ticket plus food credit for only $32. That's a $28 savings, so you might visit Indians.com. 2 tickets in the bleachers plus $20 in ticket plus. It's a food credit. Nice deal. Monday night, we got Chuck out there, $10 seats. Tuesday night, 2 for Tuesday.
The Rays employ a 3-man shift on the right side with runners second and third and 2 down for Carlos Santana.
All right, he went at him last night when he was the tying run. Now a base hit's going to take it. See, got a call there.
Boy, yeah.
That's not good. First pitch, he's looking back saying, you got to be kidding me. That looked like it was up and away. You know, with Carlos here at first base open, you have Laporta, the right-hander, on deck. I wouldn't expect him to see a fastball a hit like he went and challenged him last night early. That 2-0 pitch.
The 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Wow. Yes, it was. And now Santana has got a battle. But we've seen him before, down 0-2, where he's still a tough out. But now, what do you look for if you're Santana? He started you off with the splitter that he got. It was generous strike, a high fastball.
Benoit ready with the 0-2. And he fouled it off. Just got a piece of that to stay alive.
That's just a deflection. That's nothing you can do as a catcher. That's just one catcher to another. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Today for Santana, and this being his 4th at bat, he's seen 10 pitches. 8 of them have been strikes.
Now the 2-strike offering to Santana. 2nd and 3rd, 2 down. And it's a diving stop by Brignac from his knees. Throws him out to end the inning. So there's a case where the shift definitely saves the Rays. And they stay on top 4-2.
May not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(4-2) Rays stay on top as we go down to the 8th inning of play. Rafael Perez threw 1 pitch and got an out in the 7th when Reed Brignac tried to steal and was thrown out. So he'll face Ben Zobrist, Carl Crawford, and Evan Longoria. Zobrist bunts it. Perez, bare hand grab. Low throw. Laporta couldn't dig it out. Perez might have hurried it a little too much. If he'd have just taken his time, he'd have thrown a strike.
He had time to get it with the glove as well. He barehanded it. And, some pitchers, they panic. They speed it up, which he did. He got it with the bare hand. Then he really tried to put something on it. It was a bad throw. They give him a hit, and it's a gift. That should be an error. He had plenty enough time to make that play.
I'd mark that one down in pencil.
Well, they changed the one last night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it goes as a hit, so we'll see.
Carl Crawford with an RBI his last time up on a sacrifice fly. 1 for 9 in the series. Carl Crawford has Marte in on the grass at third. And he did try to drag bunt that, though. He was trying to pull it down the first baseline. Fouls it off.
Not a bad idea after the pitcher just makes a mistake on the last bunt. Keep the pressure on the defense. With the left-hander falling to the third base side, that's why he was trying to take it with him.
Back out of play. Maniacta's club has just not been able to hit in the clutch here today. That's what's really held them back. They've had some opportunities. They just can't seem to get that one hit to get them over the hump. Crawford fouls it back. Meanwhile, Tampa hasn't done much either. They got one swing of the bat, a 2-out, 3-run homer in the second inning from Reed Brignac. Their other run scored via an error.
Well, and that goes to show you sometimes when you're a starting pitcher, you make one bad pitch, it can cost you a ball game. And right now, that one pitch has done just that.
Matt Laporta holding the runner, Zobrist, at first base. He will take off if you're not careful. Crawford fights it off, stays alive. Zobrist with 19 stolen bases on the year. $19 out of 21. That's very, very good. But the Rays have quickly learned that Carlos Santana is not to be messed with. So unless you're sure, unless you've got the great jump off the pitcher, you're probably not going to see them running wild.
Well, you don't have to. You're running into the meat part of their lineup. They have a 2-run lead. Now, if there's a guy out there that you can run on and you figure you got a pretty good chance to steal, you go ahead and you can stay aggressive. But with the lefty out there, it sort of neutralizes it. So you just stay put. The reason why they tried that stolen base right when they brought in Perez is because normally when you're a reliever coming out of the bullpen, the last thing you're thinking about is throwing to first base. You're thinking of coming in and throwing a strike. So he went on first movement. That was put on by the manager, but Santana made a beautiful throw.
Big bouncer to first. Laporta gloves it. Goes to second for one. The return throw. Not in time, but I'll tell you what, with a guy of Crawford's speed, they made that very close.
Yes, they did. They had a 3-6-3 earlier with first and third, but Laporta gives a good feed. He's right there. He can get back to the base. And Crawford just does beat it out. He might be the only guy on that team that does.
Right-handed hitting Evan Longoria coming up, and it looks like Maniac is going to make a move to the bullpen with 1 on and 1 out here in the 8th. Tampa on top 4-2. Aboard. Joe Smith coming on.
Joe's for the 25th time this year. 14 hits in 18 innings, 15 strikeouts. You know, the Indians' bullpen, they've allowed just 39 of their 172 runners, inherited runners, to score, which that's best in this league, and it trails only the San Diego Padres. And for Joe Smith, he's had 23 inherited runners and allowed just 3. But with this guy on first base, you're looking, okay, here's the speed. Do you want to run on a guy and try and get yourself in scoring position? Longoria, the right-hander, Smith on to face. You got Pena next.
Runner goes on first movement, not even close.
Well, with the side armor, that's not even close is right. Santana did the right thing, just flip it back to the pitcher. You know,
his
that's
34th stolen base on the year.
That's one thing about a side armor. He takes a while to deliver it.
Two balls, no strikes.
And you better keep him close at second. And Jason Nix is doing just that, because you don't want Smith to quicken his delivery up, because it'll change the movement on his pitches.
Oh, Jason Nix made a nice grab there.
Came really close to going into center field.
There's a strike, 2-1. Well, to the bottom of the 9th in Detroit, Tigers came back to tie that game against Toronto at 3-3. Interesting that Jim Leland said, hey, with these injuries, our veterans are going to have to step up and deliver. Miguel Cabrera, he named him individually. He got the RBI hit that tied the game in the bottom of the 8th.
He's going to have to step up every day.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I really wouldn't pitch to if I was a team playing him right now. Unless you absolutely have to.
Just to give you an idea, the Tigers today had Jackson leading off, Santiago at batting second, Rayburn third, Cabrera cleanup. They've got Crawford hung up between second and third. Marte runs it back, and Nix applies the tag, and that is a gigantic out for the Indians. Crawford took off for third, and even though there was nobody at second base, Smith just turned towards second and had Crawford hung up to dry. And with 2 down, he goes back to work on Longoria, 3-1. And this is probably the only batter he faces here with Pena on deck. You got Tony Sipp ready in the bullpen. And he walked him. So Longoria goes to first, and Maniacta will indeed go back to the bullpen. So Joe Smith, like Rafael Perez, gets an out without retiring a batter. But the inning is still alive for Tampa.
Watch a little batting practice and enjoy hot dogs all night long for just $1. Tickets are on sale now. Visit Indians.com.
So Tony Sipp coming on for the Tribe here, 42nd appearance of the year. A win, 2 losses, ERA 4.79. He's walked 26, struck out 40 in 35 2/3 innings of work. He'll face the left-handed hitting Carlos Pena with a runner at first and 2 down. Rafael Perez came on in the 7th inning. He threw 1 pitch, and Reed Brignac was thrown out trying to steal. So he got an out without retiring a batter in that 7th. And then Joe Smith gets an out without retiring a batter when Carl Crawford was caught between 2nd and 3rd. Now it's up to Tony Sipp, after he came on for Joe Smith. Shift is on for the Tribe. $13,410. The attendance here today on this Kids Fun Day. Another runner might be picked off here as Longoria's trying to steal second, and he is thrown out. Sipp over to Laporta, who threw down to record the out, and the inning is over. It's a 4-2 Rays lead. Tampa didn't go to that young man, but they did go back to their bullpen. Joaquin Benoit got the final 2 outs of the 7th inning. Now Grant Balfour coming on to work the 8th. The Australian native.
Balfour appearing for the 42nd time. 41 strikeouts in 41 innings. Today Benoit was used in the 7th inning. And if this game remains the same, you'll see Upton goes into center field. Zobrist, I'm sure, moves over to right. And out comes Joyce. So now they get their best defense in there with a 2-run lead.
Matt Laporta 0 for 3 today, 0 for 9 in the series. Rays have really had his number. In the air to right field. And Zobrist backs up to grab it, 1 away. Let's get a look at our Miller Taste Greatness moment. And let's go back to Casey Blake's inside the park home run against the Detroit Tigers when Granderson slammed into the wall. And by the time he got up, ran over and picked it up, Blake scored standing.
Another guy you wouldn't expect to have inside the Parker.
There have only been, what did we say, six in the history of this ballpark.
That Cleveland Indians have hit. There's been 2 guys from the road, from the visiting teams that have done it. And we saw one last homestand from Johnny Peralta.
Travis Hafner looks at a strike. He is 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. Try to beat the shift, and he will. Hafner's 4 for 4. They didn't have that over shift on, but what they had was the second baseman, Brignac, pulled way over, so he had no chance to run that down at all. And Hafner just took advantage of the wide open middle space in the infield.
Well, he's been in the middle of the field all day long. And his double coming the other way. There's the double. Plugging the gap in left center field, but the other 2 hits are going to be straight up the middle. No stride whatsoever.
Here's Jason Nix, a single his first time up. Since then, he's been hit by a pitch, and he lined out to center field. So the Tribe has the tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Again, they've had some scoring chances here in this game that have gone awry. Ninth time in Travis Hafner's career. He's had a 4-hit game. The last one came April 23rd of 07 in Minnesota. Which occurred 4 years after he hit for the cycle in Minnesota. The 1-1. Fouled it right back. Brad Balfour has come in and thrown strikes 6 out of 7. The pitch to Nix in the air, right center field, but it hangs up and Zobrist will cruise over to grab it. 2 away.
You can spend the day golfing out at Quail Hollow Resort on the CIC Golf Outing. That's all going to take place August 9th. You can sign up at Indians.com. It's a great day at golf. You have Sixums go out there and try and compete for that low score, but there's great food, cocktail dinner, awards, prizes, and auctions. That'll all happen again Monday, August 9th out at Quail Hollow.
Now Trevor Crowe for 2 today. And a strike over the outside edge. Crowe grounded to first in the first at bat. Then he laid down a sacrifice bunt and grounded out to second his last time up. They're in a rain delay now in New York. Yankees and Royals New York up 5-3 in that ball game. Toronto's got ahead of Detroit 5-3. Tigers batting in the bottom of the ninth. It was tied going into the ninth. So Lyle Overbay, I'm told, hit a 2-run homer to put the Jays on top. 1-2 the count. They're also in a rain delay in Philadelphia, where the Rockies lead the Phillies 3-2.
Well, they're getting those clouds and those storms that we had here for the last couple of days.
East Coast storms. Hafner, the runner at first, with 2 down on the 1-2 pitch to Crow. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Hafner will stop at second. And the Indians have 2 on with 2 out. Andy Marte will be called back for a pinch hitter. And the Indians will go to their big gun off the bench, and that's Shelley Duncan, who's been a tremendous pinch hitter for Manny Acta all season long since he was called up to join the big league ball club. Duncan is 5 out of 12 with 4 runs batted in for the Indians in these pinch hit situations.
And also has a home run, the only home run hit by a pinch hitter this year, and only the 39th time that Acta has used a pinch hitter this year.
Last night against David Price, boy, he had a nice short swing right to the ball. Blasted it out of here.
Made it a 3-0 ball game at the time.
Jim Hickey, pitching coach, going to go out and talk with Grant Balfour. The Indians in this series have gone just 1 for 19 with a runner in scoring position. Sometimes those hits just seem to come so easy, and other times
that's true.
It can be a monumental struggle.
Well, let's put it this way. It takes a lot of the pressure off because there's 2 outs for them. And they've been
there you go.
We're going to let you get a hit, but there's going to be 2 outs.
That's been where this team has really excelled this year, as Marte is lifted for the pinch hitter. Well, let's see if Shelley Duncan can deliver. With 2 on and 2 out, and the Indians down 2 here in the 8th. Takes the ball down low. Again, the Rays with a 3-man shift on the left side for Duncan. There you get a look at the unusual 3-man shift for the right-handed hitter. Ball gets away from Jaso, goes all the way over to the on-deck circle. And Indians move up to second and third. So the tying run is now at second base with 2 down. It does open up first base with a 2-0 count. And the left-handed hitting Michael Brantley on deck.
Now it just takes a single. Because you have good speed at second base in Trevor Crow. So there it is. A base hit away from tying this ball game up.
Balfour wants a new pill. The umpire gives him a new baseball to deal with. Shelley Duncan with a 2-0 count. And runners at second and third with 2 down, and the Tribe down 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Indians have out-hit the Rays 10-6.
Yeah, they've left 8 runners stranded compared to the Tampa's 2.
2-0 pitch, popped him up. Right fielder Ben Zobrist. And once again, the Indians cannot deliver. So we will go to the 9th, 4-2 Tampa. Back here at Progressive Field, where the Indians continue to trail Tampa 4-2. Chris Perez on for the 40th time this year. No wins, 2 losses, ERA 2.41. And he's on here right now just trying to keep the Indians in the ballgame, down 4-2. Carlos Pena looks at a first pitch strike. Pena was at the plate when Evan Longoria was caught trying to steal. Johnny Peralta is taking over now at third base as Pena lifts it high and foul. Peralta, long run back to home plate. And just into foul ground makes the grab. One away. Hey, when your pets get sick, you assume your veterinarian knows what he's doing. Sadly, that isn't always the case. The investigator, Tom Meyer, asks why state regulators are not cracking down on vets who make serious mistakes. That's Tuesday at 11 on Channel 3 News. B.J. Upton, who came on defensively, will get his first at bat of the ballgame. Matt Joyce, who started in right field today for Tampa, was 1 for 3. Upton on the year, you see the .229 average. Big bouncer foul, wide of third. Looking forward to the bottom of the ninth inning for the Indians. They'll have the top of the order. I would imagine we'll have Rafael Soriano coming on for the Rays. Missed inside. 2-1 the count. I'm told now that Rafael Soriano is indeed warming for the Rays in their bullpen. Perez with the 2-1. Pop back. Out of play. Indians welcome in the New York Yankees tomorrow night. We'll have all the action for you. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The first 3 will be seen on Sports Time Ohio. The series finale Thursday night, right back here on Channel 3. Jake Westbrook and Javier Vasquez go tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And strike 3 called. Upton knew it. Perez has retired the first 2 here in the ninth. And as Rick pointed out earlier, and who knows what may happen now with the Yankees game currently in a rain delay, but Alex Rodriguez still sitting on 599 home runs. So he could bring the opportunity to hit his 600th career homer here to Cleveland.
He'll have 4 games to try and do it if he doesn't get one today.
Murph tells me that Tuesday is A-Rod's birthday, so if you'd like to come on down here to the ballpark and shower him with the praise that I'm sure you feel he deserves on his birthday, feel free. The 0-1 fouled away. Willie Ibar changed this game for the Rays back in the second inning. There were 2 outs. Justin Masterson had retired the first 5 in a row to start the game, and then Ibar drew a walk. The next man up single, and the man who followed, Reed Brignac, hit a 3-run homer. The Rays took the lead. At that point, it was 3-1. The Indians would come back to add a run to make it 3-2. And then Tampa got an unearned run in the 5th. That's been it for the scoring here today. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled off the mask of Santana. Boy, he took the brunt of that foul tip. Smashed him right in the helmet right above the mask, it looked like. Or maybe it just crushed the mask right back into his face.
Well, he's going to take a little walk and let the cobwebs get out of there. Take a little breather, and that is a direct hit, man.
Yeah. Shaking it loose. I'll bet that one had him seeing a few stars.
Yes, it does. Look at him.
Well, at least he's walking in a straight line back to home plate.
At least he thinks it's straight. All right, he seems to be okay. He's taking that slow walk back as Adrian Johnson just says, "You okay, kid?"
You see guys in football sometimes when they really get a bell ringing hit, they'll get up and walk to the wrong huddle sometimes. But Santana's ready to go, in the 0-2 pitch is in at the feet of Willie Ibar. Carlos Santana would be due up fourth in the bottom of the ninth. The 1-2. Ibar able to hold up that pitch just off the outside part of the plate. Again, Ibar having a good at bat, hanging in there. Two-two pitch. Ibar shoots it the other way, fair ball. Little squibber just inside the line. Ibar's digging for two, and he'll go in standing with a two-out double. Get a pinch runner. Looks like Gabe Kapler.
Yes, indeed. He's Ibar's a DH, so you put in some speed in case there's a base hit here. Try and get one more run if you can. That was a good at-bat by Ibar to get his eighth double. Kapler going to be the pinch runner.
John Jaso will be the batter. 2 hits on the day for the Rays backstop. Down low. And a strike is called. 1-1 the count. A little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike. Well, Chris Perez came out throwing darts to start the inning. But after Ibar had a pretty good at bat, forced him to throw some pitches. He's fallen behind Jaso, now 2-1. 19th pitch of the inning for Perez. And a ground ball to third. Peralta slings it across and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the ninth here at Progressive Field. Tampa Bay on top, 4-2. 4-2, Rays lead it. Bottom of the ninth here in Cleveland. Been a frustrating game offensively for the Indians, and they've had some chances. They've had some hits, had some guys leading off inning, getting on base, but just cannot seem to get that one hit to push them over the edge, get a rally going. They scored one in the first on a sac fly, scored one in the second on an RBI ground out. Nothing since.
Well, Soriano was on to get the save last night. Coming back on and trying for number 26 today.
Now the Indians have left 10 men on base here this afternoon. That's one of those good news, bad news situations. You like the fact that you've had opportunities. That tells you that, you're making the pitcher work, you're getting some hits, you're getting some guys on base. But that lack of the clutch hit is holding them back. Rafael Soriano, meanwhile, has been one of the best in the American League this year.
Well, he really has. I mean, and that's exactly what the Rays needed, was their little question mark on their bullpen last year. But boy, they said, they've done a nice job. Benoit, Belfour, and now Soriano.
Michael Brantley takes the first pitch strike.
They are rated number 1 in the league in ERA. You look at this series, the Indians have not scored more than 3 runs. They were able to win the first game 3-1. They get beat yesterday and score 3. They have 2 on the board today. Tough to win games when you score 3 or less. You do 1 out of 3, and that's a good job. But let's try it again. Get the guy on or a couple guys aboard. That's all you can do. Sooner or later, you've got to find a way to get a hit. You're going to go through the middle part of the lineup if anybody reaches.
Now the 1-1. Big chopper foul. Well, when you don't hit with runners in scoring position, then you need some home runs to score. And the Indians have a solo shot and a 2-run homer in the series. No homers today, but just 1 for 20 with a runner in scoring position in the series, and that's been the glitch in the offense.
The difference between this series has been the 3-run homer. Tampa's got back-to-back days 3-run homers. Yep. The Indians haven't been able to do that. When you don't hit with runners in scoring position, and Tampa hasn't hit well in this series, the 3-run homers made the difference in the 2 games.
2-2 the count here on Michael Brantley, who's trying to get aboard to start the bottom of the ninth for the Indians.
And that's what the Indians pitching has been able to stay away from, was the long ball in this ballpark.
Yeah.
But, you don't mind giving up solo shots. Those are going to happen. That's no big deal. But when you've got guys aboard, and both the 3-run homers came with 2 outs and nobody on.
Routine ground ball to second. Brignac throws out Brantley, 1 away. Let's pause one more time for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here today at Progressive Field, where the Indians trail the Rays 4-2, bottom of the ninth with 1 out as Dribble Cabrera, 1 for 4 on the day, steps in. 4 for 12 in the series for his Dribble. 4 times the Indians got their leadoff man aboard today. First 2 times they scored. Haven't been able to do it since. The 0-1 pitch. And in both of those last 2 instances, they ended up getting a runner to third base.
Well, that's
but couldn't get him in.
Yeah, I mean, everything's magnified when you're not scoring. You look at all the situations you had, and we say, you can't play perfect baseball. They had an opportunity to put more runs on the board. They didn't do it, and then they give up an unearned run. And that is a big difference in the game.
Good off-speed pitch by Soriano. Took a little something off, and Cabrera out in front of it.
When you out-hit your mistakes, people forget about it. But when you don't out-hit your mistakes and then everything's magnified, you look at every little thing that you do wrong, and that's what you take away from a game. You got to take the positive away from every game, not the negative.
Cabrera strikes out, 2 down. which, like I said before, the positive, and if you want to be the eternal optimist and look for the silver lining, the opportunities were there. So It's not like you went through this game and you got a 2-hit shutout against you and you were just stinking up the joint. They've had some chances.
Good pitch and stops, hitting. The opportunities are there. And you know what? They're going to run into some pitching against the Yankees in this 4-game series. I said, now this is their 17th consecutive game where they played against a winning team. And, winning teams are going to be a little bit tougher. They don't make as many mistakes.
Shin-Soo Choo backed away by Soriano. Rafael Soriano. Choo with a line drive base hit down the right field line. He's headed for extra bases here. Choo into second base with a double. And this game's still alive with 2 down now here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And it will bring up Carlos Santana, who will represent the tying run at the plate.
Well, Choo with his second hit today. Again, he's quick. 89-mile-an-hour heater inside, and he just turns on it. See the reaction, the quick hands down into the corner for Choo, his 16th double. And here's your chance again, an opportunity. I mean, you don't have to hit the home run. A home run would tie the game, but keep it rolling.
Well, let's see if Carlos Santana can deliver here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Santana 1 for 4 with an RBI. That came back in the first on the sac fly. His base hit came in the third. Santana with a drive. Deep center field, but Upton is back, and he is going to make the catch to end the ball game. Santana hit it into the teeth of that breeze blowing straight in from center. And Soriano has his 26th save of the year as the Rays beat the Indians by a final score today of 4-2. Winning pitcher is Wade Davis. He is now 8-9 on the season. And as I mentioned, Soriano his 26th save for the Indians. Tough luck loser today is Justin Masterson, who drops to 3-9 on the season. With the win, Tampa is now 59-38. The loss drops the Tribe to 41-57, and Tampa wins the series, taking 2 out of 3. Time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank, banking home of your Cleveland Indians.
Let's go back to the second inning. 2 out, nobody on. Brignac gets a ball, a breaking ball to his liking. He'll go to right center field. You see Choo jumping for it. It gets into the seats. That was the 3-run home run. That was all they needed today. Brignac, a part-time player, did the job, hit the home run. That's our KeyBank key play of the game.
And the Rays win it today by a final score of 4-2 over the Indians. Rick and